we're ourselves on stage. On the album, we need to be ourselves. So just we write and we play who we are, and then it's honest. And if it's honest enough, people will see that and hear it. If it's dishonest and we're trying to manipulate it to being something else, it'll be dishonest and people won't like it.
This album, because as you say, the logistics, you know, the other two guys are still in England, one in the northeast of England, and one in the south of England. I'm in Portugal. So the writing for this album's been, I wouldn't say drastically different from what we've done in the past, because you know, when it comes to writing songs, you know, I'm a little bit of a lone wolf, I suppose, you know, and I continuously write. Even since doing the new album, I'm still writing. So I had just kept writing and writing and writing, and I think it was between the first American tour that we did and a European tour. I came home, you know, from the bus, from hotel rooms, from backstage. I loaded, I think it was about 84 riffs off my phone straight into the computer. So I'm constantly just coming to, I've always got these things going around in my head, and you know, I've got to get them out. You know, so whether it's going to be for Venom Inc., whether it's going to be for Empire, or it's going to be for any other project that I do, or writing for somebody else, there's always stuff going around my head. That's the role that I see in this band more than anything else for me. Any band that I've been involved with, I always look at myself as just being the creative aspect of it.
Because Mantis is in Lisbon, he lives like an hour out of Lisbon in Portugal, he moved to there, and Abaddon is in the north, Newcastle, where we're all from, and I live in London, so you know, it's the great thing about the internet. You know, there's pros and cons with the internet, as we know, and particularly music, but file sharing and all that, but it helps an artist if you utilise it properly. It means you can connect to the audience for a start directly, you know. But also for the music, yeah, it means because our location is separated, we can share ideas across. So, you know, I'd record something and send it to Mantis, and he'd send some stuff to me, and that's how we work the process.
So like I say, with this album, I wrote all the music just over a period of time. And if you were to look at my hard drive, you would see all the different folders. It starts at VENOM 001 and goes up to VENOM 020. So there's actually 20 songs written, a lot of them in various stages of completion. But with me, when I'm writing stuff, I think that the song has got to dictate to you where it's going to go. If you spend too long on a song, if you try and force it, it generally doesn't happen. And sometimes the stuff that you write that you consider, well, maybe a throwaway, you know, because you're so close to it all the time and so protective over it. Sometimes those are the songs that, you know, become hits or whatever they're going to be, you know, classics, you know, as they're termed these days. So for me, writing this album, I questioned myself a lot.
You know, when you're in a band as well, sometimes people go, you know, you should be in a room and everybody should be like pitching in and stuff, and that's cool as well. But for me, there's an identity. There was always an identity, particularly in the early Venom albums, was that sound and that riffing, which is Jeff. It's him, you know. When we did the first one in the States, I remember after getting back together, and people were going everywhere we were going, oh man, how do you get that guitar sound? And nobody sounds like him. And I go, because that's him. You know, how does he get it? How does he sound like that? Because he plugs in his guitar and plays like that. It's him. You know, there's no special setup or anything. It's just how he plays, and that's the identity. So while he has that identity, while he was prolific at writing music, I thought, you know, when he needs help, when he gets to a point and goes, I can't fucking think of something, then I'll jump straight in. I'm always there for him. But if he doesn't, then I don't need to, you know, you don't need to stir the broth if it doesn't need stirred, you know.
And I remember having a Skype conversation with Demolition Man, and he was like, you know, look mate, you know, you've just got to be who you are, you know, just do what you do. You know, what you're coming up with now is great, just keep going ahead with what you're doing. So I did. put a lot of the lyrical ideas together as well, and then when Tony came across to record his bass and vocals at my place, then we sort of filled in the gaps on lyrics. Some of the lyrical themes took a little bit of a different avenue, because when we got our heads together, we sort of, you know, it's like idea tennis when we get together. You know, there's a lot of stuff comes backwards and forwards.
When we get together, the ship just works magically. So for this process, it was Jeff had composed. You know, I was working on so much other stuff, so Jeff just kept writing, and he would throw me stuff and go, that's great, yeah, this, no, that one, I'm not so sure, maybe try this. He built the process like that.
So yeah, it's been done a little bit differently. When you consider in the early days of Venom, you know, I would write a song, I would take it into rehearsals and we would rehearse it, and maybe it would change a little bit or whatever, or you know, because of the other two guys' way of playing stuff, it would take a little bit of a different turn. And I'm sure some of the tracks live off the new album may take a little bit of a different turn, but that's what this band's always been about. Everything's open to interpretation. As far as for me as a songwriter, and again, I think, you know, not being a control freak, but being quite protective over what I write and quite precious about it. As long as the basic structure of the song is correct when we play it live, then it's open to interpretation by the other players within the band.
So, you know, I guess the point I'm getting at really, Tommy, is that when people listen to it and go, this song was constructed to be old school, to sound like they did then, or it's not like that at all. It's all as it happened. It's all of the moment. It's fresh because it's now. You know, there's no plagiarizing gone on at all. We didn't write this to sound like that or to be like that. Just pure. It's just pure. This is what it was, and this is what it said.